Welcome to your mats today. We will begin by laying on our backs. So you can start with your knees bent to allow that triangular bone at the base of your spine to settle. Allow the heaviness in all of the bones to sink down. Connect you to the earth. And if it's comfortable to extend the heels away from the crown of the head, you can do that. If that causes any discomfort in your lower back, just keep your knees bent, feet as wide as the mat, knees fall together. Take a moment before we really get moving to check in with yourself. Bring your awareness to your breath. And notice the quality of the breath in this moment. Notice if the chest feels tight or open. If the breath is short or long. If the inhales or the exhales bear more weight. And we'll take a moment to intentionally deepen the breath, bringing the awareness to the diaphragm, that muscle right below the ribs. As you inhale, feel it expand down. As you exhale, feel it soften back and spread wide. With your next inhale, take your awareness past the diaphragm, down into the bottoms of the feet and your tips of your toes. And as you exhale, completely sink into the support of the ground beneath you. Allow yourself to be held. And then draw the awareness up your body. With an inhale, pull the awareness up through your legs, into your hips, pelvis, low back. Notice any areas of tension, soreness, general discomfort, and use the breath to go into those areas. As you inhale deeply, open and expand, and exhale completely. Allow some tension to leave your body with your breath. With your next inhale, pull your awareness up your torso, into the shoulders, the face, and the neck. Again, just noticing where in your upper body you're holding tension today, and use your breath to go there. Inhale, make space. Invite fresh blood and oxygen into those areas. And as you exhale completely, consciously ask the body, your body, to soften, release, and let go. Lastly, check in with your mind. Notice where your thoughts are at. Observe the speed at which they move through you. Take a giant step back from identifying as your thoughts and begin to just witness their passing. Observe with curiosity and interest without getting attached or carried away, without judging yourself for what you're thinking about, but beginning to notice the habits and patterns in the way the mind turns. And then bring the awareness back and anchor it fully on your breath. Have a few more of those deep grounding breaths. Inhale down into the bottoms of your feet and the tips of your toes. And exhale. Spreading wide across the floor. Connecting to that universal blueprint. Bones and joints stacked in the back body plane. The bones are the earth element of the body. They provide that heaviness, that grounding, that structural support that we require. When you are ready, you can inhale and let's stretch our legs on the mat. So draw your right knee into your chest and then interlace your hands behind your right thigh. Extend your left heel up to the ceiling. Press out through both heels and the balls of both feet. Feel how each of those actions have an effect on the muscles in your legs. The whole midline of your left leg, especially the thigh bone, presses firmly down towards the floor, and the right thigh bone presses into your hands, lengthening the pelvis and the low back on the right side as you then begin to draw that leg more actively towards yourself. Maybe you can walk your hands up to the calf. Maybe you can even take that yogi toe lock, peace fingers around the big toe of your right foot. And maintaining all of these actions, pressing through the heels and the balls of the feet, rooting both of your thigh bones down in their respective directions. Begin to draw that leg more actively towards yourself for 5 more deep, long breaths. Breathing into the places that feel tight and sore and stuck. And as you exhale, continuing the conversation of consciously asking your body to soften, release, and let go. Press the whole left side body down firmly as you prepare to open the right leg gently to the right side. You can continue to hold on with the peace fingers, or you can just take your right hand down to your calf, or maybe even your thigh to provide support. But all of the actions remain the same as the shapes shift. Press through both heels to lengthen the back of the legs. Press through the balls of the feet to hug the calf into your bone. Left thigh bone presses firmly towards the earth. Left foot is flexed and active, pointing straight up. Right thigh bone still pressing down away from the crown of the head, making balance and evenness in the lengthened space of the low back on your right side. As you press through the right heel, soften the abdomen back and turn it back to the left. Looking for balance and evenness in the grounding of the back body. 3 more deep, long breaths. Always using the breath to work that magic, expanding on the inhales and releasing on your exhales. With an inhale, you can bring that leg back up to center. Reconnect and recommit to the activation of both legs. Press through the heels and the balls of the feet. Root both thigh bones down. And then take that Right leg gently across the left side body, supporting the leg with the left hand. Keep lifting your right heel up to the height of your right hip while simultaneously circumferentially rooting the outer right hip down towards the left heel. The left toes still flexed and active, pointing up. Left inner thigh grounding down. 3 more deep, long breaths, softening your abdomen back into the right now. And we can just gather so much information about the tendencies and the alignment and the activation of the muscles in the legs from doing these stretches on the ground here. So like, I want to do them every day. And it's hard for me to start a class without them. With an inhale, return your leg back to center, and exhale, lower it to the mat. Shimmy out the hips a little bit. Feel the different sensations of the different sides of your body. And remembering that this whole practice is about making adjustments to return to balance and center. Draw the left knee into the chest. Interlace your hands behind your left thigh. Press out through both heels. Right toes now flexed and active, pointing up. Pull midline of the right leg, grounding down. Noticing if there's a tendency for the foot to roll out. Noticing if there's a tendency for the leg to roll out or the foot to sickle. And then press that left thigh bone into the hands to lengthen the lower back. Keep and maintain all of this effort and all of this work as you begin to draw the legs more actively towards yourself. Maybe you can walk the hands up to the calf. Maybe you can take your big toe and your peace fingers for Yogi Tova. Either way, 5 more. Deep, long breaths. Breathing into those places that feel tight and sore and stuck. And as you exhale completely, seeing where you can. Soften, release, and let go. Remembering all of these actions for our standing poses later. Press the whole right side body firmly down as you begin to take the left foot slowly out to the left side. Feel free to support your leg with your hands if that's what you are called to do in this moment. But continuing to press through the heels and the balls of the feet to root the right thigh bone firmly to the floor as you press the left thigh bone down away from the crown of the head. Lengthen the lower back evenly on both sides. That action of the thigh bone is paramount to the health of the lower back in this practice. And as you're pressing through that left heel, soften your abdomen back and turn it to the right, creating balance and evenness in the grounding through the whole back body plane. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Making sure that the outer edge of that left foot is coming down parallel to the floor and that the toes aren't dipping down or the heel isn't dipping down. All of this information about the tendencies and habits in your body. With an inhale, bring that left leg back to center. Press through both heels and the balls of both feet. Root both thigh bones down in their respective directions. And using the right hand to support the left leg, take it across to the right side body. Right toes flexed and active, pointing up, right inner thigh grounding down, and just feel how that deepens the stretch through the outer left hip and the IT band of the left leg. Lifting your heel up to the height of your hip, energetically moving towards, as you exhale and root the outer left hip down towards the right heel. Soften the abdomen back into the left. 3 more deep, long breaths. And then inhale to center, release the leg to the floor. Shimmy out the hips a little bit here. Draw the knees into the chest. Rock gently from side to side. Massage the low back. Exhale to the right side. Press down with the palms to lift up. Come to a comfortable seated position. And close the eyes for just another moment. Connect with the shape from the ground up. So maybe it feels good to inner rotate the thigh bones and move the flesh of the buttocks out. Feel that both sits bones at the base of the pelvis are pressing down evenly so that we can get that inhale, lift and lengthen through the crown of the head and the tips of the ears. Always remembering that if the pelvis is dipped back here, sit up on a block, a blanket, a prop, anything, so that the pelvis can come to neutral. Because in the seated position and in standing too, the alignment of the whole body rests on the alignment of the pelvis. And we are continuing to work at the foundation, which shifts as we move through the shapes, but the principles of the foundation remain the same. Whatever is on the earth presses firmly down into the earth to give us the leverage to lengthen the body and make space in the opposite direction. And last week, we were talking a lot about routine and how our routines can anchor us and ground us in our daily lives, how they are stabilizing and comforting for the body and mind, which is so important. But then I took a few days and went to the creek in Mississippi, and I remembered the other piece of the puzzle. Routines are wonderful and great and a starting point, but as we allow our routines to deepen, and as we connect them to the rhythms, the cycles and seasons of nature, as we bring reverence into our practice, we move from routine to ritual. And ritual is magic. Ritual, more than just comforting and stabilizing the body, it creates meaning in our lives. And that's really what we crave and what we seek as human beings. So as we allow this practice to deepen, as we connect it to nature, as we recognize that this practice incorporates all of the elements, right? There's the grounding of the earth, there's the air in the breath, there's the fire in the vigorousness of the practice. And as we bring all these elements into ritual and into, they purify and clear the body out. We begin to align more and more with the rhythms and the energy of the universe. And then what we do and be and create is backed by that. We're no longer isolated. We're no longer disconnected from our passion, purpose, dreams. It helps to bring it all together and to bring it down into the body. So we will be recognizing and honoring the magic, power, ritual of the practice today, specifically through the element of earth. With an inhale, you can reach the arms up and overhead. And exhale through the mouth with sound, release the arms down. 2 more times like that. Inhale deeply. And exhale completely. Once more. Good. And then we will inhale to prepare for the sound of Om 3 times together. Pausing in that silence that remains and feeling the vibrations resonate through the body. That air element blowing through, clearing us out. We'll take a moment to connect more deeply to the breath. We will practice a pranayama where we consciously lengthen the exhale, the aspect of the breath that calms, soothes, settles us, and grounds us down. This is breath work that is useful for anxiety. So first, just inhale deeply through the nose, lift and lengthen through the crown of the head and the tips of the ears. And as you exhale, completely soften the shoulders together and down the back. And then inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. And exhale as slowly as you can. Pause at the bottom of your breath to observe the effects of the pranayama on the energy in the body, and then return to your normal breath. Good. We will inhale, open the eyes, and come onto our hands and knees. Good. Spread your fingers wide and ground down through all the knuckle mounds. Wrists under the shoulders, stacking the bones and joints, knees under the hips. As you inhale, drop the abdomen down, arch the back, gaze up. As you exhale, press down and curl the spine to the ceiling. Continue at your own pace. Sync the motions of the body with the breath. Use the breath to deepen the motions of the body, of your body. And allow this synchronicity to bring you fully and completely into the present moment. The only thing that's real. Move in any way that feels good to you within the confines of the shapes. Remembering now more than ever as we practice virtually to listen to the guidance and the wisdom of your body. It communicates with us in sensation, pain, and pleasure. Heed its warnings. When you are ready, you can tuck your toes, lift your hips high, and press back to downward facing dog. Feel free to pedal your feet, sway your hips, move in any way that feels good to you here to get the wiggles out of the body. And then find some stillness. Feet as wide as the hips, and your outer edge of your feet turn so that they're parallel with the outer edge of the mat. This is going to begin to rotate the thigh bone into the hip socket all the way up the leg. We cannot align the legs and the hips without that action. If the hips are tight and rounded here, take a slight bend in your knees right over your ankles to give you leverage to inhale and lift the hips high. Exhale, press the thigh bones back. So the first direction of the pose is up, the second direction of the pose is back. And from the foundation, inhale, lift and spread the fingers and toes. Feel how that engages the muscles in the forearms and shins. Maintain that engagement as you ground down. 3 more deep, long breaths. Feeling the pulsation of pressing down to lift up and of drawing the energy in and up to then extend and shine out in all directions. With an inhale, float forward into your plank pose and pause here. With the hips at the height of the shoulders, taking the thigh bones back, root your tailbone down towards your heels. Feel how that activates the legs to support the lower back. Anywhere that feels like it's collapsing needs an adjustment, needs to lift up. 1 more big breath here. And exhale, lower the knees, the chest, the chin to the floor. Press the tops of the feet down. And inhale, lift the heart, roll the shoulders back. Everything on the ground presses firmly down into the ground so that you can lift the heart and the crown more. Every action of our feet serves a ripple effect, purpose through the body. So press your pinky toenail down here and feel the sacrum spread. With an exhale, seat to heels, child's pose. Allow the weight of your hips to settle energetically towards your heels. You can sway the hips from side to side if that feels good to you. From that grounding energy of the lower body, inhale and walk the fingertips forward. Breathe length and space into each vertebrae in your spine. And as you exhale completely, soften more deeply into the stretch. Good. With your next inhale, rise, hands and knees, arch the back, gaze up. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips high. Press back, downward facing dog. Building our shapes from the foundation. Make sure your hands are evenly grounded. Spread the fingers and press through all the knuckle mounds. Make sure your feet are evenly grounded, as wide as your hips. Working with a slight bend in the knees if the hips are tight. Inhale, lift and spread your toes. Feel how that forces you to press down through the big toe mound, which lifts the arch and the inner ankle. Keep that as you lower the toes to the mat. From that grounding in the feet, Pressing into the earth, we get the leverage to lift the hips, lift the abdomen towards the spine, press the thigh bones back and the heels energetically towards the floor. Let your head hang heavy for 3 more breaths. And then with an inhale, begin to walk the feet forward to meet the hands. Come into a standing forward fold. Feel free to bend the knees here if that feels good to you. Abdomen can come towards the thighs, so the back, the shoulders, and the neck can completely relax and release tension. Shake your head out, yes, and no. Grab opposite elbows and sway if that feels good to you. It's allowing all of that tension to drain out through the crown of the head, making space on the inside of the body. With an inhale, return to center, and exhale, release the arms down. Bring the hands onto the hips, draw the elbows together on the back, root the tailbone down, and inhale, lift the frontal hip bones, the abdomen, the heart, the crown of the head to come to stand. And exhale, release the hands down by your sides. Good. So just taking a moment to reconnect to this template of optimal alignment and energetic flow through the body that we're looking for in all of the shapes. The template is Tadasana, mountain pose, which we began in lying on our backs, right? So turn the outer edge of the feet so that they're parallel with the outer edge of the mat. It might feel like they're turned in. Most of us are kind of like here, especially me because I was a dancer. There's all kinds of weird stuff going on in my legs that I have to consciously work to return to balance and alignment, right? So outer edge of the feet parallel with the outer edge of the mat. Lift and spread your toes and feel the muscles in the shins engage. Spread the toes wide. Keep pressing through that big toe mound. Feel that lifting of the arch that supports the whole inner leg, groin, pelvic floor, and keep that as you lower the toes down. Stick your booty out a little bit so that the center of the hips come over the knees and ankles, and then drawing the center of the buttocks into the midline of the body, root the tailbone down. Feel how that grounds you. The energy from the sacrum moves in all directions, rounding down through the legs so that we can lift through the spine. We'll do some sun salutations. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward over the legs. Inhale, gaze forward, lengthen your spine. Exhale, round the palms, step or jump back to plank pose. Find that same template. Stacking of the bones and joints in the back body plane. And maintain that as you exhale. Feel free to use your knees, bending the elbows straight back just to 90 degrees. Press the tops of the feet down. Inhale, lift the heart, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Return to your breath. Checking in at the foundation, making sure everything is evenly grounded. Lift and spread your fingers and toes, stretch them out and ground them down to activate. Inhale, lift the abdomen and the hips high. Exhale, the thigh bones up and back. One more big breath. And with an inhale, gaze forward, step or jump the feet to meet the hands. And exhale, fold deeply into the legs. Inhale, reach your arms up and overhead, come to stand. Exhale, release your arms down by your sides. Returning to Tadasana, check back in with your alignment. Make any adjustments you need to make to bring your body back to center. And inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, gaze forward, get length. Exhale, round the palms, step or jump back to plank. Find that template, stacking the bones and joints in the back body plane. And exhale, lower. Press the tops of the feet down as you inhale, lift the heart. Roll the shoulders back. Exhale, lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Return to your breath. The breath provides everything we need. We can connect to the earth through the breath. Inhale, drawing in and up the qualities of the earth, the strength, stability, steadiness. And exhale, shining it back out through the four corners of the hands, the feet, the crown of the head. With an inhale, gaze forward. Step or jump your feet to meet your hands. Get length through your spine. Exhale, fold more deeply. Inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Come to stand. Exhale, release your arms down by your sides. Checking back in. Looking for that lightness that comes into the body when everything is in alignment. And inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, gaze forward, lengthen your spine. Exhale, round your palms, step or jump back to plank pose. Find the template. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift the heart. Press the pinky toenails down. Exhale, lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Return the awareness to your breath. Press firmly through those big toe mounds to activate the inner arch and lift your inner ankle. All the way from the inner ankle up to the inner groin to lift the abdomen and the hips high. And as you exhale, from all that stability and form and outer shape, soften. With an inhale, gaze forward, step or jump the feet to meet the hands. Get length through the spine and exhale, fold. Inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale, release your arms back down by your sides. Good. Sun salutation B. Inhale, arms reach up, drop the seat. Sticking your booty out, thigh bones back, same ideas. To get low, rooting the tailbone down, drawing the center of the buttocks into the midline to lift up. We're gonna hold things today in honor of the earth. 5 breaths. With that 5th exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, gaze forward, lengthen your spine. Exhale, ground your palms, step or jump back. You can come to plank, move through a vinyasa, or press back downward facing dog. Whatever choice you make, stay with your breath, honoring your body today. Inhale the right leg high. Lift your right leg from your inner thigh in the center of your heel. Press that left thigh bone back to create balance and evenness in the pelvis. 5 breaths. And then inhale, step the foot through between the hands and rise. Warrior 1 at the top of the breath. Deep bend in the front knee so it stacks right over the front ankle. That back thigh bone presses back slightly and it inner rotates to bring that left hip around in line with the right. The tailbone roots down, settles right between the sits bones. And from that grounding, we lift up. 5 breaths. And exhale, release. Ground your palms, step back. Come to downward facing dog or move through a vinyasa. Inhale, your left leg high. Toes flexed and active, pointing down. Lift from your inner thigh in the center of your heel. Press the right thigh bone back. Cultivate that balance and evenness. Maintain it. 5 breaths. And step the foot through between the hands. Inhale, rise up. Finding that deep bend in the front knee that stacks the knee right over the ankle. The back thigh bone moves back and inner rotates, bringing the right hip around in line with the left. Root your tailbone down, and from that grounding, lift the frontal hip bones. Lift the whole torso. 5 breaths. And exhale, release, ground your palms, step back, move through a vinyasa, or come to downward facing dog or child's pose. Wherever you find yourself, return your awareness to the breath. 5 deep, long breaths. And with an inhale, gaze forward. Step or jump the feet to meet the hands, lengthen through your spine. And exhale, fold. Inhale, drop the seat, arms reach up, chair pose. Exhale, stand tall, arms by your sides. Tadasana, mountain pose. Check back in with your alignment and your foundation, creating a habit of continuing to check in when you're standing in line, when you're no longer on your mat. Inhale, arms reach up, drop the seat, chair pose. We can take this pose with the feet together or apart, but the knees have to bend in the same line as the ankles because they're a hinge joint. 5 breaths. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, gaze forward, lengthen. Exhale, ground the palm, step or jump back to plank. Press back down dog or move through a vinyasa. Good. Inhale the right leg high. Exhale, step it through. Inhale, rise, warrior one. And then interlace the hands behind your back, preparing for bowing warrior. Front knees still stacked over the ankle, finding that inner rotation of the back thigh. Root the tailbone down to lift the abdomen and the sternum. Exhale, fold forward. Hinge at the hips. Come down on the inside edge of your front knee. 5 deep, long breaths. Look at your hips and see what adjustments you need to make to create more balance, evenness, stability, and steadiness. And with that 5th exhale, ground your palms, step back. Move through a vinyasa or come to your downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, step it through. Inhale, rise, warrior one. Deep bend in the front knee. Inner rotation of the back thigh. Switch out the crossing of your hands as you interlace them behind the back. The rooting down of the tailbone lets you lift the abdomen and the heart. Exhale, fold forward. Coming down on the inside edge of that front leg for 5 breaths. And exhale, release. Ground your palms and step back. Feel free to come to down dog or move your body with the breath through a vinyasa. Maybe you'd like to take a few breaths in child's pose. Honoring the connection to the earth wherever you find yourself. Feeling her stability, her mother energy, always there, witnessing, supporting us. We'll meet back in downward facing dog. And with an inhale, gaze forward. Step or jump the feet to meet the hands. Lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold deeply. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Ooh, drop the seat chair bones. And exhale, stand tall. Tadasana. One more time. Inhale, arms reach up, drop the seat, chair. Thigh bones back, tailbone rooted, 5 breaths. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, gaze forward, lengthen. Exhale, ground the palms, step or jump back to plank pose and down dog or vinyasa. Inhale, your right leg high, and exhale, bend your knees, stack your hips. Still pressing that left thigh bone back to make space on the lower back on the left side. Lift the abdomen towards the spine and lift the right knee high. 5 breaths. Inhale that leg back to center. Exhale, step it through between the hands. Inhale, rise, warrior one. Exhale, open to the side, warrior two. Deep bend in the front knee, stack the bones and joints. Back thigh bone, back. Stacking the bones and joints of the back leg. Slightly inner rotated so the thigh bone is in the hip socket. Tailbone roots down. Both thigh bones press back to fully open the hips. 5 breaths. As you inhale, you're pulling the energy in and up from the floor to the core. And as you exhale, you're shining it out in all directions. With that fifth exhale, cartwheel the hands to the mat, step back. Come to downward facing dog, or move through a vinyasa. Inhale your left leg high. Exhale, bend your knees, stack your hips. Right thigh bone presses back. Inhale, lift the abdomen towards your spine and lift your left knee high. 5 breaths. Inhale the leg to center. Exhale, step through. Inhale, rise, warrior one. Exhale, open to the side, warrior two. Deep bend in the front knee, stacking it over the ankle. Your back thigh bone presses back in line with the knee and ankle on the back leg. As both thigh bones press back, the hips open, tailbone roots, and gaze over your front fingertips for 5 breaths. Each inhale, pulling energetically, legs together, abdomen back. Each exhale, pressing out. Cartwheel the hands to the mat, step back, move through a vinyasa, or come to a down dog or child's pose. Wherever you are, be with your breath. Be with your connection to the earth. The strength, the stability, the steadiness that sometimes we think we don't have. And then we find it. Good, we'll meet back in down dog if you're not there already. And with an inhale, gaze forward. Step or jump to feet to meet the hands. Exhale, fold deeply into the legs. Inhale, drop the seat, arms reach up, chair pose. Exhale, stand tall, Tadasana, mountain pose. Good job. How's everybody doing? Feel good? Yeah. Okay, I'm like so red and sweaty. So we're gonna take our feet wide. Outer edge of the feet parallel with outer edge of the mat. Turn your left foot in slightly and your right foot out all the way. Lift and spread your toes, stretch them out, ground them down. Keep that big toe mountain grounded to lift the inner arch of both feet. Back thigh bone back, in line with the knee and ankle. As you exhale, widening that back hip back as you cut the front thigh bone back. Pelvis shifts. Activation and alignment of the legs stays the same. Widening, reaching the fingertips forward. Side body's long. Come down into your triangle pose. And then scan your body from the ground up. Lift and spread your toes. Stretch them out, round them down. Take a slight bend in the knees, and from the back of the knees, lift up to the sits bones. From the back of the knees, press down through the heels. Back hip lifts up and back. Front thigh bone cuts back and buttock hugs into the midline. From that strength, stability, and steadiness of the legs, breathe, lengthen space into the spine. 5 breaths. Oh, inhale, rise. Turn the outer edge of both feet parallel with the outer edge of the mat. Thigh bones back. Extending from the tailbone through the heels as you inhale, lift the abdomen and the sternum. Exhale, fold forward. Hinge at the hips. Bring your hands down to the mat. You can take your hands under your shoulders, or you can walk them back between the feet. Either way, pressing down with the hands to lift the shoulders up. Let your head hang heavy. Maybe it touches the floor, maybe it doesn't. From the ground up, reconnect. Lift and spread the fingers and toes. Stretch them out. Ground them down. Notice if your ankles are dipping in or out. Center them over your foot. From the back of the knees, with a slight bend in the knees, lift up. From the back of the knees, press down through the heels. Feel that level of engagement in the legs for 5 breaths. Good. Bring your hands onto your hips. Root down to rise up with an inhale. Turn the right foot in slightly and the left foot out all the way. Arms out. Lift and spread the toes. Stretch them out. Ground them down. As you exhale, you're widening the back hip back, cutting the front thigh bone back. Stretch the side bodies long and come down into your triangle pose. Scan your body from the ground up. Your legs and feet are like the roots of your tree that extend energetically into the earth. Lift and spread the toes. Stretch them out, ground them down. Slight bend in the knees, and from the back of the knees, lift up. From the back of the knees, press down. Back hip draws up and back. Front thigh bone cuts back, and that buttock hugs into the midline of the body. Breathe, lengthen space into the spine, 5 breaths. And inhale, rise. Turn the feet. Outer edge of the feet parallel with outer edge of the mat. Thigh bones back. Tailbone extending energetically out through the heels. This time, let's interlace our hands behind our backs. Inhale, lift the abdomen and the sternum. Exhale, fold forward, hinge at the hips. The head hangs heavy. The shoulders draw up away from the ears here. Reconnect with the legs. Lift and spread the toes. Feel the fire in the legs. Lower them to the mat. From the back of the knees, lift up to the sits bones. From the back of the knees, press down through the heels. 5 breaths. And with an inhale, rise. Exhale, release. Step or jump the feet together. Good. And we'll come to do a few balancing poses before we shift directions and wind down. So let's Let's do tree pose in honor of the earth. Shift your weight to your left foot. Lift and spread the toes, stretch them out, ground them down. Make sure the outer edge of the foot is parallel with the outer edge of the mat. I should have said that first. And the big toe mound is your anchor here. Inhale, lift the right knee. And you can place the kickstand the toes at the ankle. Place the foot on the calf or take it up past the knee to press into the thigh. This standing thigh bone is back. Lifted thigh bone pressing down. The foot and the leg press together. Bring your hands to your heart. Everything hugs into the midline of the body. Find a focal point to steady your gaze that's not a person moving like me. From the tailbone, press through the heel, through the floor, and anchor into the earth. With an inhale, lift your arms up. You can keep the fingertips together or take the hands as wide as the shoulders. Either way, looking for that stacking of the bones and joints in the back body plane. 5 breaths. And then lower that right hand, palm facing up, onto the right knee. Press through the left leg to lift and lengthen through the left side body. We're widening the left hip gently to the left as we lean to the right side tree. 5 breaths. Inhale to center. And exhale, release. Ow! My foot is on fire. But feeling that strength build in the body. Inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale through the mouth with sound. Let go. Releasing whatever happened. And moving on to the next side. Observing how you speak to yourself. And remembering that this is a game. It's playful. It's not actually serious. Outer edge of the foot parallel with that right foot parallel with outer edge of the mat. Lift and spread your toes wide and big toe mound. Keep it grounded. Inhale, lift the left knee. Place the foot on the inner calf or thigh, above or below the knee joint, because the foot and the leg press together. Stability of opposing forces. That standing thigh bone presses back, so the hip, the knee, and the ankle of the standing leg are stacked. Lifted thigh bone presses down, so there's grounding from both sides of the pelvis, through the standing leg, through the floor, into the center of the earth. Hands at your heart. Everything hugs into the midline as you root down to rise up. Hands can stay together or as wide as your shoulders. 5 breaths. Looking for that lightness that comes when the bones and joints stack. Feeling the dance, the balance of opposing forces, the negotiation that is never really still, even if it appears that way from the outside. And then we're bringing our left hand onto the left thigh, palm facing up. Press through the right heel and lift up through the right fingertips. Widen that right hip to the right and lean up and over to the right side. 5 breaths. And inhale to center. Exhale, release. Shake out the legs. Come back to the top of your mat. And inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, gaze forward, lengthen your spine. Exhale, ground your palms, step or jump back. Move through a vinyasa if you would like, or meet us in child's pose or downward facing dog. Wherever you find yourself, return your awareness to your breath. Notice the quality of your breath now at this point in your practice. Notice where in your body you're still holding tension and where some things may have shifted. Observe the speed of the thoughts through the mind in this moment, and then bring the awareness back and anchor it fully on your breath. We're gonna come into a headstand and or headstand prep practice. What we want to bring into this practice is the awareness of the stacking of the bones and joints in the back body plane, the awareness of the actions at the foundation, pressing firmly down to lift up, and an awareness of what is happening in our legs even when we're turned upside down. All of those alignment cues about the outer edge of the feet being parallel with the outer edge of the mat, about pressing through the heels and the balls of the feet, about taking the thigh bones back and then drawing the center of the buttocks into the midline to root the tailbone down, which is up when we're in headstand. Those are all the same, right? So I'm gonna lead you through the prep and then into a headstand practice. If you just wanna go right ahead into your headstand practice and stay there and wait for my alignment instruction, you can do that. If you are not comfortable weight bearing on your head, specifically if you have a neck injury, you can do this prep work without grounding the crown of the head down, keeping the head lifted. The main thing is we're interlacing the hands, elbows are as wide as the shoulders, and the head, the tip top crown of the head comes to the floor in front of the hands. The hands cradle the back of the head. The most important action here at the foundation is that you press firmly down into the pinky edge of the hands and the forearms to lift the shoulders up. So I'm going to continue to remind you to do that as we work. So interlace the hands, elbows as wide as the shoulders, crown of the head comes to the floor in front of the hands, hands cradle the back of the head, the thumbs are crossed. Press firmly down into the hands to lift the shoulders away from the ears. Then make downward dog in your legs. Press firmly down with the arms to lift the shoulders away from the ears as you walk the feet in. You can stay right here or play with lifting the left leg high. Lift from the inner thigh in the center of the heel. Press the right thigh bone back. Press firmly down into the arms to lift the shoulders away from the ears. Have 3 breaths. And exhale, release that left leg down. You're welcome to rest between sides in child's pose, or to stay pressing into the forearms to lift the shoulders away from the ears. And inhale, lift the right leg. Lift your right leg from the inner thigh in the center of the heel. Press the left thigh bone back. Press down with the forearms to lift the shoulders. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Then you are welcome, after 3 breaths, to lower the leg and come into child's pose, or to press up through the heel to rise all the way up into your headstand. If you are in headstand, press down with the forearms to lift the shoulders and lift the heels up. Take the heels, the legs, the feet as wide as the hips. Flex the feet. Make sure the outer edge of the feet is parallel with the outer edge of the mat. Stick your booty out slightly, thigh bones back. Then draw the center of the buttocks into the midline. Don't forget about pressing into the forearms, to lift the shoulders up. Have 5 more deep long breaths wherever you're at. Maybe you're still in child's pose. Maybe you're trying to prep pose again. Maybe you're in headstand. When you're ready to come out of it, you can do it with the legs straight or the knees bend, tucking down into the chest, lowering the feet to the mat, and child's pose if you're not there already. Return to the breath. And then you can lift the chin and place the chin in the palms of the hands for a few breaths. Let me check on what time it is. Oh yes, there's never enough time. Okay, so we'll come to lay on our back, and we're gonna close out with some bridge poses and then a shoulder stand practice, which in the Iyengar tradition, which is one of the traditions that I practice in, is the counter pose to headstand. And we can work the same alignment principles in our shoulder stand, in all the poses. So lay on your back. Bend your knees, ground your feet in close to the buttocks. Outer edge of the feet parallel with outer edge of the mat. We do not want our feet to turn out when we lift our hips. It will crunch your lower back. Press the back of your head and shoulders into the mat. They are part of your foundation here. And if you would like to continue to work the legs hard, extend your right heel up towards the ceiling. With an inhale, press down to lift the hips. If it feels good, you can interlace your hands beneath you, or just roll your palms to face up. We just want to roll the shoulders under. Everything that is on the floor presses firmly down into the floor to lift the heart. From the heart, extend through your knees. From the heart, extend through the crown. 5 breaths. And the invitation, if your leg is lifted, is to keep it lifted as you exhale and lower the hips to the mat. Bend the knee, ground the feet. Resist the urge to draw the knees into the chest just yet. Sway the knees from side to side if that feels good to you. And then bend the knees, ground the feet in close to the buttocks. Press the back of the head and the shoulders firmly into the mat. If you did so on the other side, extend the left heel towards the ceiling and press down to lift up. Interlace the hands beneath you or just roll the palms to face up to roll the shoulders under. If the leg is lifted, the thigh bone presses away from you. Space in the lower back on both sides. Lift the heart away from the upper arms. From the heart, extend through the crown and the legs. 5 breaths. And with that 5th exhale, keep your leg lifted and lower the legs to the mat. Release the foot. Sway the knees again from side to side. And as I said, we'll finish with a shoulder stand practice. If there's a neck injury, if you feel exhausted and you're ready to take a more restorative shape, what is up with my hair? You can always put your legs up the wall or put your legs up on a chair to receive the benefits of inverting. If you would like to come into a shoulder stand practice, the back of the head and shoulders are your foundation, just like they were in bridge pose. So you do not want to turn your head when you come into plow pose or shoulder stand to check out what's going on around you. You want to keep your gaze focused on the ceiling right above you. You can grab the mat by your hips or ground the fingertips by your hips and use that as leverage to roll the hips up and the feet overhead. If the feet cannot touch the floor behind you, you're going to keep your knees bent and just bring your elbows in and your hands onto your lower back. If it's possible for the feet to ground down behind you, interlace the hands and roll the shoulders under. Then bring your hands onto your your upper back, palms face up. You're welcome to stay right here in plow pose or to lift the legs and continue to practice this activation and alignment in the legs. Pressing down through the back of your head and shoulders to lift up through the heels and then the balls of the feet. Stick your booty out slightly behind you, thigh bones back, and then draw the center of the buttocks into the midline to send the energy from the pelvis, up the legs, into the feet. Have 5 more deep, long breaths wherever you're at. And with an exhale, if it's accessible to drop the legs down behind you, you can do that. If not, you're just bending the knees in towards the chest. Either way, releasing the hands to the mat. Slowly roll the spine up, vertebrae by vertebrae. When the legs are perpendicular to the floor, draw your abdomen in towards your spine, and exhale, slowly lower the legs all the way down to the mat. Savasana, final relaxation. You are always welcome to take any final pose that your body may be suggesting it would like. You are also always welcome to bend the knees and ground the feet. Feet as wide as the mat, let the knees fall together. If there's any discomfort in the lower back when the legs are straight, putting the legs up onto the chair will also help support the lower back and let the legs relax. Wherever you're at, return your awareness to your breath. Breathe it down into the bottoms of the feet and the tips of the toes. And as you exhale completely, soften back and allow any residual tension, anxiety, criticalness to leave the body with the breath through the fingertips, allowing this practice to clear us out, connect us to the elements, ground us in our truth. Take this moment to savor any strength, stability, magic you are able to cultivate in your body or mind through your practice today. And begin to intentionally deepen your inhales, the aspect of the breath that enlivens and invigorates. Begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Gently sway your head from side to side. With an inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Give yourself a big stretch from fingertips to tippy toes. Exhale here. Inhale, draw your knees into your chest. And exhale, roll to the right side body. Use that right arm as a pillow. Pause in fetal position. Feel the shift and transformation from the meditative rest of Savasana. Press down with the palms to lift yourself back up and into everyday life. Keep your eyes closed for just another moment as you return the awareness to your breath and check back in. Notice the quality of your breath after your practice. Notice where in your body you're still holding tension and where some things may have shifted. Observe the speed of the thoughts through your mind. And anchor the awareness back on your breath. We will seal our collective efforts with the ritualistic sound of Om. Inhale deeply. Bring your hands to your heart and bow your head in gratitude for the tools of this practice that help remind us and allow us to embody our connection to all things. Thank you guys for being here.